From the day the one-year marriage agreement was signed, Mộc Tiểu Dao's life fell into a rhythm so orderly it became cruel. By day she arrived at the Trần Corporation on time, worked in silence, endured indifferent gazes and nameless tasks no one wanted to claim. By night, when the entire villa sank into stillness, she began the part of her life no one ever saw. Taking care of Trần Hạo. Even though he didn't need it. Even though he didn't want it. She woke earlier than everyone else to prepare breakfast according to the doctor's recovery plan, laid out his medication neatly, wrote down precise times. When he left, she cleaned quietly, leaving no trace of herself behind. At night she returned later than the house staff, adjusted the room temperature, replaced the water in the humidifier, making sure everything suited his fragile health. Trần Hạo never asked. He never noticed. Some nights, he came home reeking of alcohol. His tie loosened, his eyes colder than usual. Van Loan wasn't there. The driver brought him home. And the one who stayed behind was always Mộc Tiểu Dao. She helped him onto the sofa, silently poured warm water, placed a towel on his forehead. Her movements were so practiced that even she was startled. Perhaps months of caring for him had taught her a patience that was merciless toward herself. But the moment he opened his eyes and saw her, his gaze turned sharp. "What are you doing here?" His voice was hoarse with alcohol, irritation undisguised. "You drank too much," she said softly. That's enough." He shoved her hand away. "Do you think I don't know what you're trying to do?" She froze. To him, her concern wasn't care. It was calculation. Deliberate closeness. Seduction. "Stop looking at me with that innocent face," he sneered. "The agreement is clear. You have no right to step into my private life." Mộc Tiểu Dao stood still. Her hand trembled from where he had pushed it away, yet she didn't argue. She simply stepped back, keeping the distance he demanded. "I'm sorry," she said quietly. "I was just worried about your health." "No need." He turned away. Learn how to disappear at the right time. That night, she didn't sleep. She sat at the small desk in her room, reviewing his follow-up schedule, rewriting the doctor's instructions. The pen shook slightly in her hand, yet her handwriting remained neat. She told herself that as long as he recovered, as long as he was safe, these misunderstandings, she could endure them. Days passed in an endless loop. She cared, he ignored. She worried, he grew colder. Sometimes hatred flickered in his eyes, as if her very existence reminded him of a marriage he had never wanted. Once he drank so much that he developed a high fever. The housekeeper panicked and called her. She stayed up all night changing towels, checking his temperature, calling the doctor. When he finally woke near dawn, the first person he saw was still her. His eyes darkened. "What trick are you playing now?" The question cut like a blade. Mộc Tiểu Dao smiled faintly, a smile so fragile it seemed ready to shatter. "It's nothing. Get some rest." She stood, packed away the things and turned her back before the tears could fall. Trần Hạo watched her retreating figure, an unnamed discomfort rising in his chest. But he quickly suppressed it. In his mind, Mộc Tiểu Dao remained the woman forced into marriage, with hidden motives, the chain that bound him, stealing his freedom and happiness. And she, day after day, reminded herself of one thing. She didn't need his love. She didn't dare hope for his understanding. She only wanted him to live well. Even if in his eyes she was nothing more than a woman deliberately drawing close a shadow he despised. That silent love continued to sink deeper into nights no one ever saw. The divorce agreement. The divorce agreement had been signed. Mộc Tiểu Dao's signature sat neatly at the bottom of the page, steady, unshaken, as if she had prepared for this moment long ago. Trần Hạo glanced through the document quickly, clearly unconcerned with the emotions of the woman who had just signed away her marriage. To him, this was merely a necessary step to correct a mistake. For 1 year, he said coldly, fulfill your duty. After that, we're nothing to each other. Mộc Tiểu Dao nodded. Yes. Just one word. No pleading. No resentment. Her calmness made Trần Hạo pause for a fraction of a second. But soon enough, he turned away, treating everything as settled. The door closed. In the vast room, Mộc Tiểu Dao was alone. She sat on the edge of the bed, staring at her hands for a long time. They no longer trembled. Perhaps when pain reaches a certain point, one becomes frighteningly calm. She opened a drawer and took out a small pale-colored notebook. The first page recorded the day she became his wife. The last page had already been written. The day the divorce agreement was signed. With a red pen, she slowly added another line. Remaining 365 days. The countdown officially began. From that day on, Mộc Tiểu Dao lived differently. She stopped trying to approach Trần Hạo. Stopped explaining. Stopped hoping he would look at her for even one more second. She kept a proper distance, polite, quiet, becoming exactly the reasonable wife he wanted. In the mornings she still cooked out of habit, but if he didn't eat, she no longer felt sad. At night, no matter how late he returned, bringing with him the scent of alcohol and unfamiliar perfume, she prepared warm water and hangover medicine, set them aside, and left. No questions. No blame. No visible pain. Every night before sleep, she opened the notebook. Day 364. Day 363. The numbers fell steadily, cold and indifferent. Some days, Trần Hạo almost forgot she existed. But sometimes, passing through the living room in his wheelchair, seeing her slender back under the warm yellow light, a vague irritation stirred in his chest. She had changed. She no longer looked at him with eyes full of love. No longer waited silently for him to come home late. No longer tried to please him. It was as if she was measuring time, not waiting. One evening, Trần Hạo noticed the notebook left on the table. He picked it up. Only numbers. 352, 351, 350. No complaints. No accusations. Just days crossed out, methodical, merciless. He frowned. What are you doing? He asked. Mộc Tiểu Dao stood at the doorway, her voice light. I'm counting days. Counting what days? She paused for a few seconds, then replied. The days I'm still allowed to stay by your side. In name only. No resentment. No clinging. Just bare truth. Trần Hạo suddenly felt his throat dry. Why count them? To remind myself, she said slowly, that loving you isn't a mistake. But staying too long is. She lowered her head, took back the notebook, and gently closed it. Day 349. There was still plenty of time. And yet there wasn't much left at all. She knew that when the final number disappeared, she would leave without looking back, leaving behind the man who had once been her entire world, but had never truly belonged to her.